Hi everyone, it's Mary with Mary's Stampin' Cafe. Thank you so much for stopping in at my uploaded and recorded video today for Saturday Stamping. Today it's a special one. Today I am sharing with you on my upcoming Brayering Technique specialty class. Now what does that mean, specialty class? Once a month, usually on the last Sunday of the month, I offer a specialty class. Now that means you are getting some product with the class. It might be packages of designer paper or embellishments, but it's some products that you get in addition to all of the supplies for the projects you'll create. Specialty classes are in person and to-go options. For this Brayering Technique specialty class, I will have a video tutorial instead of a PDF tutorial. It is scheduled for Sunday, March 10th. This month, unfortunately, the last Sunday of the month is Easter Sunday, and I think there's got to get our priorities straight. Celebrate Jesus. So I am moving it up to March 10th because people are excited about the Stampin' Up! Brayer. Lots of different techniques, and I'm going to share now with you the projects and the things that are included in the class. I also will have my blog link below, so you can also see those different supplies that you will need if you do the to-go option. I cannot stamp anything for you. There are some inks that we'll be using, and you'll need to provide those for yourself. Any of the stamp sets or things you can probably substitute with no problem. I am focusing a little bit on some of the upcoming online exclusives, which is a little tricky since they are available to customers March 5th, and the class is March 10th. In person, I have those products and you don't need to worry about that. It's the to-go option. If you want your cards to look just like mine, you would need to be purchasing those things. You can also sign up as a demonstrator during this month and order any of those online exclusives as part of your starter kit, and I have information about that as well. So let me switch over so I can share the class with you. So here we are now. In the class, you will be getting Stampin' Up's newly designed Brayer. This is kind of a silicone, rubbery kind. It does come apart, which is great because you can then do all of your techniques. What I really like is this right here. When you ink up the prongs, they will go up when you ink, and then you get to set it down on your mat with the prongs down, and that way the Brayer is lifted off the surface and you don't get any of that on your surface. So I love that. Now, you might already have a Brayer, and that's no problem because I have two of the Brayers, and I like to have two because I can do things like this. I can use one in my project and then utilize another one that already has some things set up on it for fun techniques. So I love having more than one Brayer, and that's great. So you will be getting a Stampin' Up! Brayer and the new adhesive-backed shiny sequins. These are available for customers March 5th, but you're going to be getting them in your class, which is great. So these two things, and then you're getting supplies for 5 card projects. Now my blog shows these up close, but here is one. This is using an upcoming product as well. This is the Flowering Zinnia 12 by 12 designer series paper. It is a beautiful paper package. There's one. Here's another great technique using our Brayer and the wonderful florals embossing folder. That one is called the Layered Floral. Beautiful. Also have some die cutting labels. Here's another one. This one is beautiful. This one utilizes the Magnolia Wood bundle that's coming March 5th. It is a fabulous stamp set. Let's just see a little bit of the inside. Your kindness is appreciated. I'm also using the saying set that I'm using. Something fancy. Here's another. Now this, I'm sorry, my cards are kind of the prototype, so I have some shadows and funky things happening. We're utilizing, as you noticed in all of those, the Thoughtful Moments Hybrid Embossing Folder. This hybrid embossing folder is part of our projects. It has the dies and the embossing folder, so you can do some great techniques with it. This is the Simply Zinnia stamp set, which is also an upcoming. This is a bouncing technique. And then this one here, lovely, lovely. This is a kind of the rubber band technique. And I'm going to actually create this card today so you can see how I did that. Now I am going to do it a little differently here for him. I stamped him after I did the technique, but I think I want to stamp and mask him first. And so that's kind of that. So what I want to show you in this is the different ways you get your sayings. As you can see here, I've got the lining on the outline for love you here, and you make me happy is just strictly white. So what happened is I ran a piece of basic white through the embossing folder and the dies, and it popped it right out like that. Here's the love you. Okay. I also have the just because, and when you do this class, you are going to have all sorts of extra sayings. I want to show you how I go ahead and get that. Now this went through and it has its basic gray outline. Actually, this one does not. This is one of my white ones. I'm sorry. This is one of the white ones that I just used my lemon lime twist and ran it over. So let me show you. Here's another. Here's the thank you in the outline of basic gray. And then here's the thank you, which was the white one that I just ran basic gray over. You can see the difference. When I run the basic gray over, all of the raised up parts of the word gets colored. And on this one, I actually did the brayering of the basic gray on the embossing folder and got this. You see this, I've seen other videos of people doing that where you get this really quickly. So let's take a look. I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's do the You Make Me Happy white one. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, excuse me, I'm going to grab some paper because I just don't want to have muckety muck all over my surface here. So I'm going to turn this up because you do not want your prongs facing down when you ink up. So let me just show you what happens there. So here is the one that is just white. I'm going to go ahead, and I like to push my stamp pad against something. So I'm just taking and moving my brayer back and forth as I'm turning it. And then I'm just going to come over and I'm going to run it right over the top. And I'm going to come down to the bottom a bit more. You want to be quite light with your hand because you can get it to go down into those crannies, but I don't mind that at all. Let's take a look at the love you. And I'm just running that over lightly. I'm not really pushing down, I'm just letting the brayer catch it. Beautiful, I love that. Turn the prongs down so you don't get ink on your mat. And there is the beautiful love you. Isn't that pretty? Now let's take a look at the love you that's already done in the basic gray outline and see how they compare. I'll flip my brayer over so the prongs are up. Again, I'm going to just run through lightly. What I'd like to do is I would like to make the bottom U a bit darker. So I'm going to come just on the U. Give a little bit more. There we are. Prongs down. And then you can see on here I have the love you. The U is a bit darker, and you do have that edging of the basic gray. Because basic gray is a little bit lighter, you tend to maybe lose that. But if you look at the two together, this one stands out a bit more than this. This is more muted, and this one really stands out well. So that's where it was done on the brayer with basic gray and popped out, and just the lines, the outer lines got done. This was just a basic white piece gone through the embossing folder. And there we go. All right. So that's one of the things we'll be doing, and you will be having a whole bunch of wonderful sentiments. I mean, look at all the ones I have here. All of these fabulous sentiments not used during the class, but you get them because of doing the class. And there's a beautiful thank you with the outer outline of the basic gray. All right, so we're going to talk about this card today. Now I have, oh goodness, I have a whole bunch of supplies here, and I'm just going to move that out of the way. I have a basic white cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4, and I ran that through the beautiful fern embossing folder. Then I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 lemon lime twist and a 3 3/4 by 5 for the inside of the card. I always will want to put, especially when I'm using a white base, a thick white base, I love to add that color inside. It just makes it much more complete looking and interesting. Now, what I'm going to do is, this is a piece that I cut, let's see, it's 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get my little wild things here. Wild and sweet. The wild and sweet. It is so fun. Look at those beautiful animals. I just love that. So this is one stamp set, is something that you would need to have if you wanted your card to be just like mine, or you can use anything else you may have. So I'm going to ink that up with my Memento ink, excuse me, and I'm going to stamp this where I want it. I want it pretty close to the bottom and pretty close to the edge. There we are. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp it again on this scrap paper. I need to ink it up more so I can see it. I can't see it. That's funny. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm going to create a mask. Because I found when I did it beforehand, and you can see it too, in my prototype card, you can see I've got a shadow, but also he's looking a little green. And I don't want him to look a little green. And that happened because I already did the technique on the paper. So let's stamp them again. And I've got to do a quick cut around for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick little trim around. I'm not too worried about the leaves getting green because that's okay. The leaves are green, so that's all right. But I don't want the trunk of the tree or the koala's fur to be green. So I'm just going to do a little trimmy trim around. And masking techniques are great. Say you have things you want to look like they're in front of other things, more things to look like they're in the distance. You can stamp them and then put a mask over them like I'm doing here. And it really does a great job making things have that dimension just like you wanted. And it's that all on perspective, right? It's all that perspective. So in my class, again, you're getting 5 supplies for 5 projects, utilizing our sentiments as our focal point and pulling in some other things. So there we are. That's going to cover them just like that. So I just need a tiny little glue to tack right there. And let's see, where is my stamp and seal? I really want that because I can just put a little tack right there and tack them down. Oh, let's do a little more. There we go. I'm going to make it not so sticky. And then that's going to go right down just like that. I think I'll do another little tack right here. Just a little tack, and that'll be able to come up. I'm not worried about that. All right, so let's talk about the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be using my brayer and the lemon lime twist just as it is. So this is kind of a two-phase. And I'm going to go ahead and simply run it across. And you can see that little bit of paper that's masking is blocking that. And that's not a problem. I'll just ink it up some more, get in there. I don't want this to have a smooth finish at all. Just want it to have a background. There we go. Now I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to grab the one that has the rubber bands already on it. I just found some rubber bands in my, junk drawers and pulled some out and put them along on here. And I'm going to go ahead and run this through my lemon lime twist, walking back and forth as I roll. And now I'm going to come along and get all my fun lines. There we go. And you can see all those fun lines through there. It almost looks like grass. So then I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And see here the difference of what I have going on. I'm going to try to get a little more there. Try to get a little more down here. There we go. A little more over here, just a little bit. Okay, so now that I've done that, turn it over so the prongs are down so nothing is on the, the mat in there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some of my Stampin' Blends. You will want to have some coloring tools because there will be some coloring involved with the flowers and the koala here. So I'm going to come in with the dark, and I'm just going to do some shading of some darker areas. And it looks a little strange, but when I get in there with my lighter, where is my lighter? Why am I not seeing it? Ah, there it is. Goodness, I couldn't see this light one. Then I'm going to come in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out a little farther into that greenery that we've done, just so it doesn't look like there's a gap. Cute little koala here. Come down into that green. Go up into that green a bit. And there we go on that. So let's go in with our darker lemon lime twist. And we'll get some darker spots here going on. Down in here. Some darker, and then I'll come in with a lighter lemon lime twist. And that lighter lemon lime twist might bleed in here a little bit so we can fill in where that mask kind of blocked the green. We can kind of just fill that in a bit so it doesn't look like he's masked. Just adds that little technique there. There we go. And now our cute little koala here, so cute. It's got some darker spots here. Going in with the dark. I'm going to make his belly a bit darker, and all along here, down in here by the tree, where his arm. Get his little claws a little darker. There we are. Oh, he's so cute. A little there, some dimension. It's great. The artists really do a beautiful job putting in all that shading for us. And now the light. Or was that? Oh, I was using the light. Hold on, no wonder. I was thinking that it was looking a little light. Let me get in here with the dark. I was already using the light. And I'm like, that's not going to work if I'm using the light. It's going to, right? I'm not going to get much dimension if I am doing that. Funny what we grab suddenly thinking we have the right one. All right, so here I go with my light. Oh my goodness. Much better. There we go. So I'm going to fill in, color in the light. Now I have linked below my blog. My blog gives you all the details for this class. It also shows you the additional products, coloring tools, adhesives that you would need if you were to do the to-go option. If you're doing in person, those things are already there and provided. It's just for those that need it to go out of the area. And I'm going to come in with that dark again just to give these leaves a bit more dimension. They're kind of fading into that background. We don't want that. I filled in a little bit where it was. And there we are. Now as I look at this, I'm not seeing my lines as much as I do on the actual card here. And I think that's because on this piece, my green as I went across was much darker. But here we can really see those lines. And that's the idea I want you to get, is that in the class it'll be much more of this. This one kind of came in pretty dark. I'm going to turn here and see if I get any other lines. There I get a couple of lines. I said I really want it to have the lines. There we go. Just pushing down and going darker, and I'm getting some more lines. There we are. Okay, well that works. That is great. I don't know where that little pink came from. All right, so let's take a look at putting this together, and I'll use one of the other sentiments that we used to show you how we get those different colors onto the phrases using the Brayer. What I like about the Brayer, I know people say we can use a blending brush, and that's true. The blending brushes are soft though, and what you might find is that they're going to kind of sink into all of that back, the debossed side, the lower sides. And if you're wanting just over the top, using a blending brush is probably not a good idea. Like if I were to go over this with the lemon lime twist, I would just be getting over the ferns. I would not be getting down in between them, something that a blending brush will do. Now I want you to notice this gorgeous, this is the faux leather cord, and it has got gold in it. It's so beautiful. So what I did for that is I've come along the bottom here, and you will be getting any of the embellishments and ribbons that you need for the projects. That's all included. And then I went ahead and just put it down on the back, came back around the front here, cut what I thought I needed, and I'm going to make a bow. Now, before I do that, I'm going to put it down on the card. This is going to go on with dimensionals. And the reason for that is you can really do a better job making your knots and things using it when it's down already adhered. You're not trying to hold it and it moves around on you. When you already have it down on your card, it's much easier to do your knotting and tying. So that's my little tip for you. There we go. I want this to have a lot of dimensionals. I don't want it to sag anywhere. Nothing worse than sagging centers, for sure. So once again, this class is March 10th, Sunday at 1 o'clock locally. Or to go, your kits would be mailed on Monday, March 11. The video tutorial link will be sent, and you can participate in that anytime. You can go back, you can stop, all of those things, and complete the projects as you see fit. So I'm going to have this kind of down here off to the side. I'll go ahead and I'll put that down, and now I can go ahead and do my knot. What I like about this is it makes a really great, almost like a rustic knot, and I really like that. So I'll go ahead, get this over here. Ooh, I cut my cut my string a little small. So let's get that through there. Now, pull this tight again. Well, my knot needs some work. It kind of flipped the leather over, so I'll go back to this one. On camera, it's hard to do that, but look at that beautiful kind of rustic knot that you get. It's really great. So then, basically adhering our get well or whatever sentiment, what you'll want to do is make sure that we have a dimensional here, underneath that overhangs, and then glue here. And they're those pretty adhesive backed shiny sequins. So that is our rubber banding technique there. Another technique that we'll be doing is our bouncing technique to get that kind of sun ray look. Okay, so there are some great techniques that'll be in this class. Again, I'll have the links below to my blog that tells you all of the, let me switch over. I'll share the links below to my blog that gives you all the information, as well as clicking to reserve your space or kit. You will need to reserve your space or kit by March 2nd for this class. That's to be sure that I can get all of the supplies that I need for the class for March 10th. You have an option as well if you're not interested in getting the brayer or the adhesive backed shiny sequins. You can just do the card kit for the class, and that will come to you with all of the supplies you need to make the 5 projects without the brayer and the sequins. You'll have to then have those things yourself. Maybe you have a brayer that's similar and you want to do that, and that's terrific. I also want to tell you, you can't go wrong with having more than one brayer. For sure, especially if you want to get into some good techniques. To have both of those, have 2, it's awesome. Again, I hope you enjoyed my cards that I shared with you that's part of this class. I'm very excited to have this class, and let me know which card you kind of really liked. I'm telling you what, this fabulous Magnolia Mood is going to be stunning. Well, there it is, guys. I hope you take advantage of this class. It's going to be a great one. Make sure you check out the links below and do it before March 2nd. Until next time, happy stampin'!